I'm starting recording now. Turn this off. Get the letters ready. I'll turn on the screen share in a second and we'll get underway. Okay, so let me just check this and okay, can you see the letter files now? Can you see this? Somebody let me know, yeah? Can you see this? Can you see the file? Okay, very good, okay. So we'll start with Joseph because I haven't assessed anything by him yet. So we'll take a look at that first. And he saved the changes. Okay, very good. So let's have a look. Let's talk about H45. Okay. So I'm writing to request your further assessment, including Mrs. Taborlin. Okay, that's a little bit long for an introduction. The task said control the glycemic and possible insulin pump. Okay, so as long as you've got that in the introduction, that's good. We are to request your further assessment, switch to glycemic control. Okay, well, it doesn't really ask for further assessment. It asks for you to control, the letter is asking the reader to control the levels or to manage, to help her to manage. So there's no, I suppose they would be assessing beforehand, but you are making a request essentially. So it's important to put that word in. Anyway, so that is sound. It's a little bit long, but it's perfectly sound. Okay, now in terms of social medical history, moderate smoker, sedentary lifestyle. Okay, hypertensive and has had type DM. Yeah, now that's good. Now you see how you spell it out first, yeah, and then abbreviation of the words. Since hypertension has type DM since 7 years old. Right, I would put since she was 7 years old, which is on top of its answering correctional nutritional baseline. Furthermore, she has a long history of non-adherence. Neither nor, okay, that's good. Neither to insulin nor to recommended diabetic diets. Consequently, her condition deteriorated and she had several episodes. Now, that's quite good. That's quite good. You see, again, you spell it out, then you put your abbreviation. That's pretty good. Today's visit was temporarily presented to my clinic as a follow-up from hospital discharge, hospitalization. She was commenced, health has improved. To better, well, you don't really need to say, you know, to a better condition, because if the health has improved, it must be better, you know, so we don't really need that. Just say her health has improved with a follow-up appointment after 1 month. If you'd be above, Miss Taborlin, is it spelled with an N? Yeah, Taborlin. Needs your assessment, including insulin pump if it is required. Emphasis on glycemic control. Here's medication. Okay, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let me just have a quick check of the word count. I suspect that that will be, what's that? 200 and, where is it? 228 words. So that's not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah. Very good. Very good, Joseph. Very good. No grammar mistakes. I would have just maybe removed that because it's it's repetition. Since she was 7 years old. Apart from that, there's nothing really that I would change. So you've got the request in the introduction, what you want the reader to do. Is good. Maybe that's a little bit long, but still, it tells the reader exactly what you want them to do, and you repeat it at the end before the closing. Okay, you can maybe put that, leave a gap there. So that's pretty good, very good indeed. Okay, so I hope you all take notice of that. So that's quite good. Okay, Limia, I don't know if you're here. Are you here? Hello, are you here? I can't see. Are you here, Limia? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. I'm writing to request your evaluation and management including strict glycemic control of Miss Taborlin, who was presenting with uncontrolled diabetes. Is she presenting, but who's she presenting to? I mean, you're using a continuous verb there, but she has presented to you and you have made the diagnosis. So I don't know if, if we would strictly speaking say who is presenting as a continuous verb. Maybe you can say something like, some expressions people use whose signs and symptoms are suggestive of, etc., or whose features are, etc. Yeah. Okay. So, but that is good. It's a request, so we had that. Now, some people keep using the same expressions. I'm writing to refer for your management, blah blah blah. Okay, but go to the task and see what language the task actually says. It is specifically asking you to make a request, so make sure that you have those key words in your introduction. Admitted to our practice. Admitted. Okay, I wouldn't really use admitted because it implies that you let people in. I mean, she presented, she came to your practice. Admission means she might have been kept out, so I wouldn't use that. Admitted. Possibly presented is better, or simply came. I practice with a severe case, or diabetic acidosis. Okay, the glucose concentration successfully. Subsequently, she was discharged. Discharged. Well, you don't get discharged from visiting a doctor, or do you? I thought you were you were discharged if you were in hospital. I don't think that she's been at hospital, has she? So you're using language like admission and discharge. Now, you would use these two words if you were, in fact, a hospital. But if you're a practice, that's totally the wrong language. So got to be careful there. Subsequently, she was discharged. Well, she wasn't, because she was never admitted. So I'm not sure how that would work. Which was treated. We ordered some tests, etc. I would probably put something about we requested some tests or something. In terms of a medical history, been diagnosed since the age of 7. Okay, that's good. Past perfect, passive there, that's good. Since, using the right adverb, since the age of 7, she was grounded on intentions. Unfortunately, she's been non-adherent to her medications. I don't know why you've written that twice. Well, she has history of essential hypertension. She was found to be underweight. Moderately. Okay, well, you can include that if you want. It's not strictly necessary as such, but you can include it. Today, Miss Taborlin, I think, condition was stable. However, she's still not adherent to prescribed injection. She's not very healthy diet or lifestyle. To be noted. To be noted by what? To be noted by whom? You could say, please note, or for your attention, or something, but to you could say it is to be noted, but that's a bit formal. You know, I wouldn't have said that. You know, you say something like, please note, or simply, yeah, please note, I have discussed with her the negative impact that may result in some health, more control measures were explained to her, including anything. Cessation, I think, cessation. Alternatives, so that's pretty good. That is quite good. Joseph has a comment, the social and previous medical history not in order. It depends. I mean, I would. I don't know. That's not too bad because you've mentioned. Essentially, as I've said before, you are telling a story. You know, you are constructing a narrative. As long as there's a logical flow between the paragraphs, you know. So you could have put this for paragraph 1 after the introduction and then gone through the timeline chronology. You know, first she came to see me, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened, etc. But but one thing that I did want to say, with the exception there, the vocabulary in this letter is quite good. There's not a lot of grammar. I don't think there's any grammar mistakes really in this letter so far. It's quite good. The vocabulary, apart from that, is quite good. Review the findings, developing assessment and measurement, including the use of insulin pump. I would put an article, an insulin pump, if it is required, or if required. Addition to a strong emphasis, to the strong emphasis. Why? So right now, you've put a definite article in front of this. In addition to strong emphasis on the glycaemic control. This looks a little bit awkward. I don't know if we need this strong emphasis. You could say, in addition to glycemic control. I think that's better. So we don't really need that. We can take that out. In addition to glycemic control and her compliance to the medications. Please note she's due to be discharged today with a follow-up appointment. Discharged. Has she been in hospital? Because it says admitted to our practice. So your practice, as far as I'm aware, is not a hospital. Is it? Can somebody, I don't have the case notes in front of me. I can find them. Can somebody type in the chat box, did she go to hospital or not? Can somebody, I thought so. I thought so. So it's not a discharge. Yeah, previous admission. So task response for this might be a little bit low because, you know, you went to a doctor, not to a hospital. Hang on. Let me just go and download the case notes. I had them. I'll just have to go and find them. So again, let me go to Easy Class. I'll download them just to be sure, because I'm not sure. Usually I have all these files, but I had such a trouble with Zoom. I don't think it was me. My internet was actually working. It was fine because I could, you know, write to you on Telegram. So my internet was working, but Zoom just would not load. I don't know where it is. Where's these case notes? Where are they? Trying to find it. Where's these case notes? Ah, right. Got them. here. So, doing well since discharge, still not using insulin, discharge today. You are a physician at a family medical practice. Okay. So, discharge today, for educational PAM first. Yeah, these case notes, I'm just having a look away as well. You can't see them because I'm not, hang on, right. Let me share the right screen for the case notes. Okay. Can you see this now? These are the case notes. Can you see this? Can you see the case note page? Okay. Now, I think there's something amiss here because look, right, it says what you are a GP or you're at a practice. Okay, so you're not a hospital. So you cannot discharge people from a practice because you're not the hospital. Okay, so if we take a look here, okay, administered, discharge, stable, doing well since the discharge. It doesn't say anything here about being admitted to a hospital though. I can't see anything here about admitted to a hospital. And it says doing well since discharge, but it doesn't say anything here about her being admitted to a hospital. I can't see anything here, unless there's something wrong with my eyesight. Admitted, the discharge stable, discharge today. Well, if you're a GP at a family practice, how can you discharge? These case notes here, I have to say, they're not very clear, not very good. So I don't really know. We'll just have to take it as it goes. It's not your fault. Those case notes are as clear as mud, I should say. Not very good. So, but apart from that, the English part of this letter is good. I can't see any grammatical mistakes, only a phrasing or two that I would maybe change. So in terms of grammar, this is quite good. The vocabulary also, apart from a couple of minor points, a missing article there, but apart from that, grammar and vocab are quite good. Okay. Right, let's have a look at this one. Samain, I don't know how you say that. Don't know if you're here. Are you here? Are you here? I don't know. Can't see if you're here or not. Okay, let's have a look. Refer. Okay, refer her for what? For further management through the use of the insulin pump. I thought it said to manage the levels and possibly use an insulin pump. Isn't that what the case notes said? Yeah, isn't that what the case notes said? I thought so. To possibly use the pump. It was a case of poorly controlled type 1 diabetes mellitus for further management. Okay, yeah, so it says a possible use of the pump, age 45. Well, yeah, age 45. You can say age 45. Yeah, aged 45. No, I won't say that. I just say age. Age 45 or 45 years old. That would be fine. And I won't be too concerned about very minor points such as that, because you're not going to be losing any marks over that. It's what happens here, essentially. That's the important part. Writing to refer for further management. You can do it like that, but I always like to use the verb that's in a task. You know, it says you are making a request. So why not say I'm writing to request that you do this. In terms of medical social history, Ms. Taborlin is hypertensive, and most smokers will be non-physically active or non-active, non-physically active. She diagnosed with age of 7 as she experienced occasional note. Okay, that. Is it bad? Not too bad at all. Was admitted to hospital due to the case, and she was discharged with stable signs. Condition has slightly improved, still not used insulin, has not followed given dietary advice or the given dietary advice. Education regarding control of glucose levels. You don't need a definite article there. Internal cessation and stopping smoking. You can say that it's smoking cessations. Were discussed. You could, all passive though, it's, you can use passive, but I wouldn't use all of it passive. We discussed, I spoke about, I told her, etc. In light of the above, or in view of the above, I move to specialist consultation and better control of the condition. Okay, well, you can do it like that. It's probably a good idea to repeat what you want them to do exactly. That's what everybody says. To, at the end, make sure that you repeat the request or repeat the reason for writing. Okay, so I would mention the management or control of levels and possible use of an insulin pump, because it did say it's possible, not a definite use. That's for the specialist to say whether it should be used or not. So I would have put a little bit more to say what you said in the introduction. But in terms of grammar, that's not bad. Can't see too much wrong there. I can't say anything wrong. Regarding her need, pronoun RT, I don't know what that means. Somebody's made a comment regarding her need. I don't know. It would be appreciated if you take over this case and proceed as you deem appropriate. Should you have any queries, that is it, to contact me. Okay, that's not bad. Again, I would just reiterate the request and make sure that you do it as accurately as possible. It says possible use of insulin pump, I think. Mohammed, are you here? Mohammed, are you here today or not? Can't see you. Maybe he's not here. Okay, well, he can watch this at a later date then. Okay, so, well, he's not spelled out right. I'm writing to refer Miss Taborlin, who has demonstrated signs and symptoms suggestive of uncontrolled diabetes, for strict glycemic control and possible an insulin pump and possible use of an insulin pump. I think that's better. I think that's okay. That's not bad. Demonstrated signs and symptoms, or you could simply say who has signs and symptoms. You don't really need that verb. You could simply say, she has signs and symptoms or features. Regarding Miss Taborlin, I don't know why you spelled this wrong again. Tablin's medical social history has been suffering. Okay, that's good. Present perfect, continuous in passive form. That's quite good. For the previous 7 years, which is on 7 units of nightly, she reported that she's been non-adherent to. Now, would she report that she's been non-adherent, or would you find out while speaking to her? Because report as a verb means that she came in and said, I wish to tell you I have been non-adherent. And I don't think that's what she would say. You might find that out after questioning. But I don't think she would, I don't think she would simply come in and say, I wish to report I have been non-adherent. I don't think so, really. So you would have found out that. mentioned, we discussed, I found out, I discovered, etc. She's been non-adherent to the medication and smokes moderately. Thus, she has experienced. She had experienced multiple right. Let's have a look at this verb use here. So she reported. Now, right, this is a bit confusing here. So we've got the medical and social history. Yeah. Has been suffering for the previous 7 years. Okay, so that's one thing. Now, when is she meant to have reported this? Yeah, because we've got, okay, so we've got the introduction here. I'm writing to refer, okay. Then we've got some medical and social history there, okay. Then she reported. When did she report this? When did you speak to her first? So there's no logical flow. You know, we've got, okay, I want you to take a look at this patient. Okay, I'll tell you a bit of history about this patient. Now I'm going to tell you the circumstances, you know, first, second, third. However, when did she report? There's no dates. Was it today? Was it yesterday? Don't really know. So that's not very logical, really. Where does that come from? Thus, she had experienced multiple diabetic. Now she's underweight with biosynthics, and she does not exercise. How does that relate to her not exercising? Although she is underweight, she does not exercise. Surely you would exercise if you were overweight, but that doesn't necessarily fit in terms of logic. Although she's underweight, she does not exercise. Well, why would she? Surely she would exercise if she were overweight. So now we have a date. Miss Taborlin was admitted to hospital because she had. Why have we got past a perfect here? Because she had was admitted to the hospital. So we go, okay, because she had DKA with glucose level, and the glucose was managed accordingly. After managing the table, I discharged her and arranged. Again, those case notes, you know, I'm not, because it says you have a family practice. So can you discharge people? If you are a GP, you can't discharge people from a practice. If you were a duty doctor, if you were a resident at a hospital, you could discharge a patient. But if you're a GP, how can you discharge her? Now, I'm not going to be too harsh or critical here, because those case notes, to my eyes, don't make a lot of sense, or not as clear as they could be. But even so, was admitted to the hospital. How can you discharge her when, according to the case notes, you are a GP? So you can't. So that wouldn't work. Okay. Today, Tabitha on adherence to medication and recommendations. I discussed with the importance on the health. Based on the above, with Tabitha uncontrolled diabetes with possibly an insulin pump. If you're off of information, please contact me. Some of the punctuation is a little bit off, but that could be a typing error, so I'm not going to make a big thing out of the punctuation here, and I will make that a capital. But again, it could be just because of a typing. So this needs a bit of work in terms of structure. There's a few things here, yeah. As Dr. Joseph says, this is not a discharge letter. It's supposed to be a referral. So if you're a GP, you cannot discharge people. You can refer them, but you can't discharge them. So task fulfillment would be a little bit askew here because of that reason. Also, the layout needs a bit of work because it's not really clear what the sequence of events is. We've got an introduction, we've got some background here, and then she reported. When did she report this? Then we've got hospital, then we've got today. So I'm not quite clear what the sequence of events is. So task fulfillment needs a little bit of work because it's been misinterpreted, but it could be those case notes, but still. And the timeline is not so evident. So the layout needs a bit of attention also. Okay. Why don't we scroll back? No, okay. So, G, are you here? Mr. Chowdhury, are you here? Dr. Chowdhury, is he here? I can't see him. Maybe not. Okay. We just check that. Looks all concise. 194 words. Okay. I'm writing to refer Ms. Taborlin, diabetes type 1, due to non-compliance of insulin. Refer her for what? Refer to whom and for what? So, due to non-compliance of insulin, do we need the reasons why? We don't really need. So when you're writing, as I've said before, the reason for writing, look at the task, what's it want, it's a referral, but you are making a request of the recipient. The reader, you are asking them to do something for your patient. You want them to manage her levels and possibly, upon further investigation, see whether she needs to use an insulin pump or not. That's what you want the reader to do. So writing to refer to whom and for what. So I would rework that introduction to make it clear as possible. I'm writing to request that you have a look at this patient because of etc., etc. So that needs a bit of attention there. So we've got the social medical history, okay? Past medical and social history, or social medical. She has been suffering diabetes mellitus since age 7, or since the age of 7. Since the age of 7, I would make that sentence, okay? Although we don't need a comma after that. Although she learns some comma, but she used to have several attacks of diabetes over the years. She smoked 2 cigars. Is that what she actually smokes? I thought it was cigarettes. Anyway. Please note she doesn't have anything like activity. Okay. On the 2nd of 18, she was admitted to our hospital. Our hospital? If you're a GP, you don't have a hospital, do you? If you've got a private, doesn't it say in the case notes that you have a family practice? That's not a hospital, I don't think. Okay. Due to treatment injury, she was not adherent. Therefore, on discharge today, she was advised to quit smoking. Refer to endocrinologist, measure sugar levels. Well, okay. There's nothing here about a pump, so we need to reiterate at the end what you want them to do. So you need to mention the pump. That's spelled wrong. Okay, manage her sugar levels and possible see about if she needs a pump. Contact me for information regarding this patient. Okay, so this seems a little bit sparse. I don't think it's telling the full story of what you could include in this. I don't think it's telling the full story, so that needs a bit of attention there. Okay, let's have a look. What else have we got? Okay. That doesn't look bad. Let's have a quick look at the word counts. 212, okay, that's good. That's good. Writing to refer this patient who is suffering from control type 1 diabetes, further management, including insulin pump implantation. Okay, okay, that isn't bad. Refer this patient for further management, including management. Okay, management of what? Of levels. That's what the task says. So I would put that in. You know, of her. If I've spelled it wrong, glycaemic levels. I don't know if I've spelled that right. Maybe not. Glycaemic. I was good news on pump, and didn't it say it's possible, not definite? They don't definitely want you to implant a pump. Maybe they want you to have a look first and see if you think she should have one. Refer this patient. Okay, you can do that, but request because you want them to do something. Okay, so we've got social medical history. Moderate smoker. Is that the first thing that we need? Do we need to know that first? Surely we need to know this first. She's had type 1 diabetes since her childhood. Surely that's what we need first, not that she's a moderate smoker. You can include that, but I would put it a bit later. You know, I would put the type 1 DM first. I was just insulin regimen. Okay. I was admitted to where? Was admitted where? Admitted to where? If you're the case note said you're a family practice, so can you admit? So where was she admitted to? Okay, for which administered. Don't need that. Don't need a comma there. So 200 chance of that sound it was requested on today's review. Not been complying with medication instructions since the last visit. She was informed of terms of setting glucose testing. This in the hands. Okay. She's due for discharge. Again, I thought this was a referral letter. Is it not? So why is everybody writing about discharge? It says in the case notes you're a family practitioner. You're not in the hospital. So I don't know what you can say about this. Okay. She due for discharge. She is. Why are you using that? She is. She was. I would probably use present perfect. She has been provided because we don't know exactly when. So I would use present perfect. She's been provided with educational leaflets along with a new refill. A new refill of what? It might be above, I believe, special concentration, glucose levels, possible pump. Don't forget, it's in the task. Put it in. Make sure you get your task fulfillment. I've noticed this, Ahmad. These E2 letters, they're not that good, really, are they? There's lots of contradictions. It's not very clear what is going on. So I would give people here some leeway because the notes are not so clear. But even so, the task says you have a family practice, so you can't discharge anybody. So that should give you a clue. Okay, if okay, appreciate it if need be. Okay, so that's not so bad. Again, a little bit complicated. Okay, I've got one final letter for now. Well, yes, I am, because it's not very clear. I'm just looking at, the task. It says you are a GP, so you're not discharging people from your practice or clinic. You can't admit people into a clinic. they simply walk in and open the door, you know. So not so clear, but let's continue. There's no date on the top here. I don't know why. I copied this out of I think Huda posted this on Easy Class, so I copied it there. So, you know, and of course it's typing out of letters because I had done every single one. I just collected some letters from Easy Class on Tuesday. Maybe there's some more letters, maybe not. Maybe some other people have sent some letters. Maybe I can find some from somewhere to talk about, but so far I just have these. So yeah, there's no a date there, so I don't know. I'm writing to request. No contractions. No contractions. I am writing to request your further management. Oh, someone is recently admitted when the queue. Recently been admitted where? Oh dear, these case notes are not so good. Who's been recently admitted where? Someone has been diagnosed with endosis, has been since she was a 7. Oh, okay, yeah, so we've got present. Perfect. Given that we need a verb, is non-adherent to insulin injections, mother bouts of DKA occurred. In addition, she's a known hypertensive and a moderate smoker. Okay, now instead of simply dropping in a sentence, I'm always tempted to put something like regarding her social medical history. So it's clear to the reader what the paragraph is about, you know, just as an introduction. Blah, blah, blah. So we know what you're talking about. Okay. On President, Ms. Thomas made the book herself, which was going to affairs, actually was stabilized and discharged. Continued to be non-adherent. She did not complain of any new symptoms. As a result, why is this a separate paragraph? Why is this a separate paragraph? I don't know. I think I copied this from somewhere and it didn't quite work in terms of formatting. Okay. On view, in view of the above strict glycemic control, possibly an insulin pump, and some punctuation. Okay, so that's not too bad. That's not bad. Terms of the grammar, the vocab, don't use contractions. It's supposed to be formal. On view of the above, in view of the above. Yeah, I think what we need to do is to find something that's, find some good OET case notes and use those, because some of these E2 ones seem to be somewhat confusing. So, does anybody have any questions? I can turn your microphone on. If you raise your hand, I can turn your microphone on and you can ask, or you can type your question in the chat box. Does anybody have anything that they want to ask? I can turn your microphone on if you've got anything you want to ask. Somebody's got the hand up, okay. Rogie, I'll try and turn your microphone on. It's not letting me. It's not letting me unmute your microphone. Maybe you've something in your settings, not letting me turn your microphone on. So that's not really working. Anybody else got anything you want to say? I'll turn your microphone on. No? Okay. So, the moral of this story then is be very careful with the case notes. I think that's what we need to do in future. Also, as I mentioned at the start, I think people need to be working on their writing as far in advance as possible. I've had quite a lot of people sending me letters for correction in the last 2 or 3 days. And, you know, that's not sufficient time for you to have your mistakes identified, whether grammar or vocab, and then work on those to make sure you don't make the same mistakes in the future.
Hello?
Microphone's turned on now.
Yeah, sorry for the disturbance. I would like to ask you about sometimes if in the exam, in the paragraph, I don't know which verb I can use. I can use present perfect.
Well, it depends on the sequence, on the timing. I mean, we usually use present perfect when to connect the past and present with an indefinite time, whereas you use the simple past when we know exactly when the past action occurred. So if there's a reference to a point of time, something like on the 22nd, blah, 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 Miss so-and-so was diagnosed or Miss so-and-so reported. So you could use the simple past then because we know exactly when that past action occurred. Present perfect is usually indefinite. You know, recently she has been diagnosed as. So you could use present perfect there because recently it's in the past, but it's indefinite. We're not sure exactly when that past action occurred. So that's the difference really between those two. If you know, or if it's obvious from the context, you know, like on today's review, Miss so-and-so reported, she mentioned. So you can use the simple past then because on today's, you know, we know exactly when. But when it's unclear as to when the past event occurred, present perfect. So that's the difference really between those two. And we also use present perfect continuous to indicate how long some action was ongoing. Like she has been suffering from blah, blah, blah since the age of 7. So present perfect continuous there would be to show how long the activity or action has been occurring. So it's if you know when the past action occurs, the simple past will be fine. If it's not so clear or you don't know, then I would use present perfect instead. Okay. So that's just
okay. Thank you.
Thing. If that's okay, anytime. Okay, so I might have time for the session. I'll tell you what, I'll give it half an hour. And if you want to send any letters to Joseph, we might have time for another session a little bit later on. Okay, so that's all the letters which I had. So if anybody else has any, you can maybe send them to Joseph. We could maybe have another session in maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour's time. Okay, so I'm going to put these corrections and I'm going to turn this into a video, put it on YouTube, and I'll post the link in Easy Class. Okay, so I'll be on Telegram for a while if anybody's got any questions they want to ask. So I'm going to stop the recording now, and I'll see you in Telegram.